Hello everybody and welcome back. Root Beer here with more of the 2004 Cayley competition. I want to thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be looking at question number 17 now. So get out your notepads and take a look at your solutions and you can compare them to mine. Two whole numbers, m and n, satisfy m plus n is 20. And they also satisfy 1 over m plus 1 over n is 5/24. The product mn is equal to... Okay. So we've got a bunch of answers here. I don't see any m and n's in the problem. What I do see is an m plus n equals 20, and I probably want to rearrange maybe the second equation so there's an m plus n somewhere in there and I can substitute in for 20. Or maybe I want to rearrange m plus n equals 20 in some way that I can substitute 1 over m plus 1 over n. Now, my rule of thumb is the more complicated of the equation is the one that you should rearrange so that you can sub in the simpler equation. That generally works. So reciprocals, these are a little more complicated. The fractions, 1 over m plus 1 over n. I want to maybe try and rewrite or rearrange that so that maybe there's an m plus n in there. Okay? Now, I notice that they're fractions, and my first instinct with fractions is if I'm going to add them and maybe compare, get a 24 there, 5 over 24, I want a single fraction on the left-hand side. So I'll need a common denominator. And right then, my brain starts clicking in, what sort of common denominator would I use? It'll end up being mn. And if you're experienced with fractions, you'll know that you might be able to jump ahead in your mind and say, what's going to be on top? It'll actually be m plus n. So we really are on the right track, but let's go through the motions. So we know this, we're told this, 5/24. But what I can do is I can multiply top and bottom by the same number. Alternatively, you could just multiply both sides of the equation by mn. That would work fine too. But I'm going with my first instinct, which is to get a common denominator and look at these as two different fractions that are equal. 5 over 24. Now, since we have a common denominator, we can put these together. 5 over 24. But m plus n, I know what that is. And from here we have a bunch of options. We could multiply both sides by 24mn. That would be fine. And then we'd get 480 is equal to 5mn. Divide both sides by 5. And we'll get 96 is equal to m and n. That would be perfectly acceptable. Another thing we could do is say, well, 5 is to 20, as 24 is to mn. You multiply 5 by 4 to get 20, so I should multiply 24 by 4 to get mn. And that'll also get you 96. Lots of different ways you could approach it. And that gives us an answer of D here. D is going to be the answer to question number 17. Hopefully you guys got that as well. And if you didn't, maybe now you understand how to approach it, so you could do it in the future. We got question 18. That's on the docket for the next video. So I'm just going to jump in and record that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.